It's podcadzo.
Welcome to Podcadzo, the official companion podcast to the well-known indie rock band.
Go ahead, finish it.
Cadzo.
Are you happy?
No.
You happy you've ruined the episode right off the bat?
I feel pretty bad
Yeah,
about what I just did.
I would too. Welcome back to Podcadzo, the official companion podcast of the well-known indie rock band Cadzo.
That's much better.
I'm just joking, Julian. You did a great job. And we'll work,
I came
we'll
in
work
with the
on
spirit.
it, buddy. For
I came
next
in with the
week.
spirit.
Too much spirit, some
Too
would
much.
say.
I got to dial it back.
So I'm saying, dude, you have the spirit. You have the passion.
I
It's
got
there.
to be this cool guy
The
that
passion
doesn't
lives
care.
within you, Julian.
You want to see
You
something
just got
cool?
to tune it back a little bit. Is that a
my God.
metronome?
Look at this. It's an original, like, old school metronome.
This is one of the ones like the Nazis would use in Sound of Music.
Exactly.
Nice.
Make it go real fast.
I have an old school metronome too. I actually play with it sometimes. It's very fun.
Oh, it doesn't go
Mine's not
fast.
quite that large.
This was my mom's when she was a kid.
That's cool.
Yep.
Keep it in the family.
And it's got a... Oh, I thought it had the circle of fifths on it. It doesn't.
Oh, that'd be a handy guide to have on a metronome. The circle of fifths.
Yeah, it just has a treble clef and a bass clef on it. That's not helpful at
How
all.
much did it blow your mind when you learned about the circle of fifths?
I was like, holy f***, I'm totally going to use this all the time.
All the time in my drumming.
Yeah.
When I tune my drum head. Guys, I know this song is in G major, but I'm actually tuning to an E minor
I'm
pentatonic
tuning E minor
scale.
and then minor thirds in between all the time.
Yeah. That's cool, dude. I'm gonna replace it with
We're going to sample
with
it.
drum samples anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Do whatever.
That.
Okay, well, what are we doing today?
Today we have a very special guest on Podcadzo. You all know him. You all love him. You guys have been screaming.
Bring him back.
When are you gonna have Conor back? It's been like 5 episodes.
Has not been that long.
Hasn't been that long at all. Conor Sanders is on the podcast.
Back again.
AKA the Sandman.
And you normally would think, oh, Connor's on. That means there's going to be a topic of discussion, a linear plan.
You would think these guys are really going to hone in on something specific.
Something great.
Yeah. And really just beat Steely Dan to death.
And that's what we did.
3 hours.
Yep. This episode is another 3.5 hour long Steely Dan episode. So you're welcome for that.
You're welcome. I wish.
I would do it. We could do it again and it would be completely different.
I listen to the Steely Dan episode every week and I just think, God, there's so much stuff I should have said.
That episode really is why that episode set forward a path for me towards going to Countdown to Ecstasy more often.
Yeah.
And now that's like my favorite one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still Gaucho through and through. It hasn't really changed my opinion.
You
on
never
anything.
change your opinions on anything.
Yeah.
So.
So it's not a Steely Dan episode with Conor today. It's the most off the cuff episode we've done with Conor, but it was still a thing of beauty, a wonderful podcast episode, an important podcast episode. We really touched on a lot of current events like the movie Friendship, the Israeli-Palestine conflict.
Which, to be clear, neither of
Osama
us have
bin
seen
Laden.
the movie Friendship, and neither of us know anything about the Israel and Palestine conflict either. So, this is where you want to get your information, is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day.
You don't want to get your information on podcast?
You do.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's
well-formed, well-rounded, and because we know so little about the subject matter at hand that we cannot provide
The only way to be bipartisan
bias one way or another.
on anything is to not have any base of knowledge or any principles
Be
or any
completely in the
standpoint
dark.
on any of this. And that's exactly what we offer at Podcadzo. True bipartisanship through ignorance.
Precisely. Couldn't have said it better myself,
Thank
because
you.
I don't know how.
When I was a little girl growing up in Dorchester, I dreamed of being a broadcaster. I dreamed of being one as ignorant as I am right now.
Dreams do come true, folks. You see that?
All right. I think that's what we call an introduction to Podcadzo.
Yes. I do want to say one thing really quick, because the fans are definitely going to be wondering why we're not talking about the Bono documentary this week. It's coming, folks. Stay tuned.
It is coming. Remain patient. We know that this has happened.
Things of that magnitude take time to process.
Indeed. We're gathering our notes. We're working with some of the best thinkers that this country has to offer. Some of the best
they're doing
U2
it
scholars.
pro bono.
Oh, They're Larry Mullen Jr. Law Associates.
Holy didn't see him land in that one, but he did.
Yep. I was riding the edge that whole time.
Oh my God.
That was an Adam Clay ton of nervousness that I brought to that bit.
Okay.
All right. This has been my finest moment.
It's all downhill
Goodbye.
from here.
Oh yeah, they were playing Desire at Taco Bell. It was a deep cut too.
Ooh.
Dude, oh my God.
We were just talking about Desire.
I'm
That's
so
funny.
disappointed that I understand that you have a life and you weren't able to watch it, but it's the only thing I'm thinking about is the Bono documentary.
Yeah, me too.
I would if I had like another 24 hours of heads up, I would have been able to watch it.
Yeah, sorry. It was
it's
last
Colin's
minute.
fault.
I had, just so the listeners know, so you guys don't think I'm a piece of shit. I was told about this appearance yesterday.
Everybody here knows that it's Colin that's the piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not done my administrative duties properly.
I'll come back. I'll watch it ASAP, and I'll come back whenever you want, and we can talk about it.
It's going to be a good episode.
We are going to have to spend like just 90 seconds mentioning that we've watched it and that a review episode is forthcoming. Okay.
Positive. You guys positive towards it?
I was just telling Julian that I cannot believe how much I loved it.
The only reason that it's enjoyable, like the only reason you could enjoy it is if you like Bono.
That was the reviews were like the reviews were like, this is definitely for U2 fans.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick.
But I was like, well, I'm a U2 fan, so I'll probably like it.
I'm a U2 fan, but that doesn't necessarily make me a Bono fan necessarily.
Yeah.
But you have to be fully on board with the Bono lifestyle to like it. And I liked it, but
let's talk about it real quick.
Okay.
First, everybody, welcome back to Podcadzo. Conor Sanders.
Are you not doing your fucking stupid intro?
Aaron will be. Okay, so Conor was going to come on to review Bono, Stories of Surrender, the new Apple TV special with us.
But I accidentally watched Rattle and Hum instead.
Yeah.
And
now he can't listen to U2 for a while until that's out of his memory. Yeah. But I gave Conor too short of notice to consume that media. So he has not watched it. We're going to do an episode in the very near future where we do come on and review Bono's songs or Stories of Surrender. I'm only bringing it up because this is a major U2 canon event, and I know there's about to be an influx of messages coming to us saying, are you guys going to talk about this thing that Bono did?
Yeah.
So just letting you know.
Letters.
Yeah, letters are coming in. I just wanted to let everyone know.
95% of your audience just turned the podcast off when you said you're not talking.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll
Stories
check back
of Surrender
next week.
today. They're like,
yeah, come back
no
next
U2
week.
this week. Hey, we'll sprinkle in some U2 tidbits here and there.
Yeah, we can definitely talk some U2 throughout.
I just want to mention that Julian and I have both seen the documentary. If you can call it a documentary.
It's not a documentary.
We've seen the one-man stage show. And I have almost nothing but positive things to say about it. Much to my chagrin, I was very much ready to be very critical. But it moved me tremendously. That's all I can say. And never have any arrangements of U2 songs in the past brought out how anthemic and how essential to culture and the universal human experience their songs are than the arrangements and performances Bono did for Stories of Surrender.
I disagree with that. I think
You're wrong.
I think like U2 Live Aid in the 80s was definitely more anthemic and powerful globally than Bono on a stage by himself with a cello player. But anyway,
also maybe Under a Blood Red Sky.
I think they spent too much time on the obvious tracks, not enough time on the non-obvious tracks.
That's what I'm saying. Like those tracks, their biggest hits, the way he performed and arranged them for this, it's never been more like, wow, yeah, these are.
But it's supposed to be like the storytelling of oh, this song was written because of these circumstances and this stuff
And
that
also,
happened.
Live Aid and
But,
Under
like-
Blood Red Sky were in the 80s. You're not going to get A Beautiful Day or Vertigo on those.
Yeah,
that's
but
a good point.
I also thought, okay, we're jumping the gun a lot here.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say, we'll leave it at this for now. I liked it, but I didn't. Okay, so it moved me a lot. Truly, there were a lot of very moving moments and a lot of times where I was like, wow, Bono's actually way more self-aware and more in tune with his flaws than he leads on to believe. But then there were also a lot of times where he was doing things that like almost immediately completely canceled out those thoughts that I just had.
Mm-hmm.
It's like either he was
Like
doing
we've said,
something regrettable
they can't help themselves.
or something just barely redeemable enough to cancel out the regrettable stuff. The orchestral arrangements for me, they made me realize how significant Bono's lyrics in those songs were.
Yeah.
Like how much the lyrics are actually about stuff. Because it always just kind of seemed like even the old anthemic U2 songs, even though they were like about stuff always, that the lyrics themselves are like kind of pointless and not really like super loose and metaphorical. But a lot of them are like a lot more like direct to shit that was actually going on in Bono's life, which I thought that insight was really cool. But that being said, it's the most Bono thing I've ever seen in my life. So.
It is. More to come very soon. We're being disrespectful to Connor because he has not seen it. But I hope that was a nice teaser for you, Connor. And I hope you're even more excited.
I feel very teased. I'm
already very upset.
He's fired up.
I'm already very
primed. Connor, how are you? How was the hockey game last night?
Oh, it was okay. We lost.
No, I'm sorry.
Season over. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
Ooh.
But
that's what you get for liking
it's
stuff.
Okay. That's what I get for putting myself out there and caring about something.
That's what happens.
Disappointment.
Disappointment.
But, otherwise, things are good. Everything externally is going really well right now, and democracy is
thriving.
Doesn't seem it seems safe. So,
it's almost weird that we have to even say that out loud, that democracy feels safe, but I guess
that was sarcasm. Doesn't feel safe.
No, I know.
I did forget to start the episode doing our ritual of saying how safe we are and
everything's great. I love
grateful
Israel.
we are for the leadership we have.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just nice to finally have somebody with fucking balls in charge.
It's just nice that America's great again.
Yeah,
on day one, baby.
Men, we used to not be able to have discussions like this as men.
No,
we wouldn't be taken seriously. And now look at us.
Yep. Thank God.
We
white guys can talk about U2 on a podcast.
Yes.
We've been re-platformed. You haven't been able to do stuff. You haven't been able to talk about cutting edge non-PC stuff like this since Bush 1.
Bush 1.
This is some early 90s cutting edge shit right here.
The only reason we're so obsessed with the 90s and Blur and Oasis and Britpop and all that shit is because of Bush 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the reason why the culture climaxed.
We were all having just so much nostalgia for that administration. So
I've said it once, I've said it twice. The real death of Britpop, Clinton.
I must not have been paying attention the first time you said that.
You can't make good Britpop under a liberal regime.
No.
It's often been said.
Yeah.
But no, things have been good. It's nice to be in a little California bubble where things are still like somewhat normal.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's been great. Excited for your wedding in a couple weeks.
Very excited to see you. I'm excited for the wedding as well. It's crazy how quickly it's approaching.
Coming up quick.
I know. I need to buy a plane ticket.
I need to buy a suit.
Are you gonna camp, Connor? Maybe
I don't think so.
Outside of the pod. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot we were recording the podcast. We can talk logistics later.
I don't think so. I'll probably be flying out the next day, so I'll probably just go stay at my parents' house. But
Cool.
Yeah,
That'll be exciting for the two of you guys to meet in person for the first
stay
time.
at Connor's parents' house too.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
Julian's gonna come stay at
hang out together
in Westminster. We're gonna play
regrettably
Rummy Cube.
I probably won't be able to hang out with you guys. I don't think Julia would let me. But
nah, you should just dip out for the night. She'll be fine with it.
You know, I realized on the last podcast I was re-listening to it as the narcissist I am of the last one I was on.
What a professional you are.
Yeah, I'm trying to take notes.
Take notes.
I honestly, when I go back and re-listen because one of my biggest flaws in conversation is that I interrupt people and I talk over people, and I re-listen to try to see if I managed not interrupting people as much. But I was re-listening and I realized that I haven't met Julia either, and she probably hates me because.
Oh no, he froze.
You were like, I've been singing Third Eye Blind for like a month. Just learned out. It's been driving Julia insane. And then later in the podcast, you were like, oh yeah, I was just in disguise, your God. Just also not a fan of that. It's probably just like, why are you listening to all this music? And the answer is just always, oh, well, Connor told me to listen to it.
True. But no, she's very excited to meet you because you almost have a mythical place in our relationship because she hasn't met you and you are on the pod so much.
It's honestly crazy.
And because we were such close childhood friends. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to meet each other.
I'm looking very much forward to meeting her.
Yeah. It would be great.
We're gonna be the belligerent ones. But we're gonna get too wasted and fuck up your special night.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it about us. Yeah. So drunk.
This is our special.
I'm gonna have like a mental breakdown. I'm so sad.
I'm just gonna throw up constantly.
There probably will be a few people going wild, so you guys will blend right in. Don't worry about it. And that's Connor, good. On your point about interrupting, I've never thought you were interruptive on this podcast, and it's complicated by the fact that we do this over Zoom, and there's always like a little bit of a lag. So I always just, if there ever is interruption on either side, I just charge it to the game of Zoom.
I think I'm definitely the worst interrupter on the podcast
For sure.
by far.
Yeah.
So I'll forget my thought if I don't say it right away.
I feel like that's how I am too. It's like, oh, that just made me think of something, and my ADHD ass is not going to remember it for another 30 seconds.
No, not another 10 seconds.
Yeah, I got to get this out.
Well, that's what good podcasting is just talking over each other.
Three dudes talking over each other.
That's why I pan our vocals slightly so that if you just want to hear Julian's take, you can hear 90% of his take and 10% of mine if you leave in the just right earbud.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I've never listened to the podcast in headphones before.
That's what it's designed for.
Oh, I've always got my AirPods in. But a lot of times I do listen with one AirPod, and I don't know if you've ever noticed that the mixing is...
No, it's not panned that hard.
Oh.
It's like 10% each side. But,
Bro thinks he's fucking Rick Rubin over here.
It wasn't even a funny bit, and I lied about it completely.
I did not pick up on that. That was a bit. The vocals slightly different.
They're panned
I don't know
slightly.
how.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you're going to pan them a little bit.
Of course. Natural separation.
You're going to leave them.
Connor's always right down the middle, though.
That's what you
Voice
need.
that cuts through glass.
Yeah.
What if you did like... do you think it'd be too busy if behind you had like... You printed like a bunch of those podcadzo and did like an all over print,
kind of
like
tile it,
like posters in like New York on walls and shit. How there's like podcadzo.
We're saving up to be able to.
Yeah, it's gonna take quite a huge
that much
chunk out
to
of
the
the
print budget. Yeah, we have to sell a few more T-shirts.
You only have a. Well, I thought you were using company resources for this.
That doesn't mean there's not a budget.
Yeah.
What
we
if you
pay
just put
ourselves for our work?
Okay, what if every other one was just an logo?
Ooh, we could get sponsored.
Or what if you made the podcadzo logo blue?
Oh,
and it said on it,
and it said for the first. Have you seen that Tim Robinson bit with the Zoom where he's on a Zoom call with the Sub Pop people?
Oh yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
We're the only corporate
postal service
band.
Yeah. That's so funny.
They do not get along.
And there's just like 20 members, right?
Yeah. You're like, look at this. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Just going. That'll do. Yeah, the guy from Death Cab for Cutie's on.
Yeah.
Classic.
Very classic bit.
We could just do this for we could just quote like
Tim
sketches
Robinson
and YouTube videos, like Step Brothers and stuff.
That was one of our recent episodes.
I'll do you one better. We can just play those videos on YouTube, and then we don't even
we don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
I think we just solved podcasting.
We've been leaning on that crutch for a few episodes lately.
It's true. That's become like our whole thing is let's watch a video and then pretend that we care about the things that we're reflecting on.
Well, let's get into the meat of the conversation. And I think a good way to do that is to start with Jack White.
Jack White.
Jay White.
Jack White.
Yeah, me and Julian both recently
Jack
saw.
White.
Oh.
No, Jesus. Act professional.
Is he calling right now?
Spam call.
Ah, damn,
call.
I thought it was Jack.
I get
Jack White.
so many spam. You thought Jack White was calling me?
I thought maybe fortuitously he was calling us.
I actually have Jack White in my contact list because
Do you have like a...
he had that ticket submission thing for the Bluebird, and it saved Jack White in your phone.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
I had that already from some Fear the Dawn shit that he did.
Oh, well, I also meant to mention that I have Jack White's real phone number.
I have a social.
I had his number before. I have his landline from when him and Meg were married.
I have a Ziploc full of his bathwater from
when he was
a teenager.
I have their home address where I used to send them handwritten letters when they were married. Because that was actually their anti-technology phase, so he didn't even have a phone, Connor. Not even a landline.
I didn't even send him handwritten letters. I would cut the letters out of magazines and put them together and then glue them and send them to him. And I would make them extra ominous.
Well, that's weird because I was actually over at his house all the time, and I never saw one of those letters.
He had a different house that you didn't know about.
He kept them in a safe.
For his special friends, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, which house were you at?
I was at the one for his special friends.
Yeah, not that one. Probably at his decoy house.
You were at the decoy house, you dumbass.
No, I was at the special
you were at
friend's
Jack's
house.
decoy house. And
me and Julian were at the real house. You were at the decoy.
Yeah,
house.
you're at the decoy.
Shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Dude's too much of a
My letters
dumbass
are
to
really
grasp a very simple concept.
It was a really good decoy, I suppose.
Because it was empty. There was no furniture or
I thought that's just how.
accoutrement.
I thought it was a Spartan existence they were living.
Nah, he lives a very lavish lifestyle. His real friends.
Yeah, he has lots of things. Maximalist.
Ivory sculptures.
Golden toilets.
He has a Tesla and a Ford Bronco.
I don't like.
He has a Tesla, and he didn't even buy it because he wanted an electric car. He just said he really wanted to support Elon Musk
in this hard time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like how the dynamic has shifted in this conversation.
Like two against one.
So being against me.
Yeah, I like it.
It's just for this bit.
I started. I started off being Jack White's best friend, and now I feel like I hardly know him.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
kind of exactly what the
well, sorry to burst your bubble, Colin.
I'm sorry. Out of the three of us here, which two of us went to the Jack White show and which one of us didn't go to the Jack White show?
I've just heard so much of his music in person already from when he used to jam and like hold private concerts for me.
Oh, you sound like a real supportive friend.
And it's like nothing's gonna
You can't be bothered to buy a ticket to go see your friend play.
I just know he has so many people that are gonna buy tickets anyways. I would hate to.
Actually, the show didn't even sell out. So
really, it didn't sell out at Mission?
No, it did.
Okay,
I think it did pretty quickly.
Connor, where'd you see him?
Santa Barbara Bowl.
I thought.
Yeah,
the old bowl.
I snuck into the GA pit. A couple songs in, so got pretty up and close. It was a great set list.
I peeped the set list.
Yeah, lots of No Name, lots of White Stripes, some White Stripes deep cuts, some White Stripes classics.
Julian saying that how surprised he was how diverse and era spanning the set list was.
Yeah, I had a bit of a theory. Maybe you can confirm or deny my theory since you were at a totally different show in a totally different state, but This was the first Jack White show that I've been to where the audience was mostly like, it seemed like older people, like a lot of people with like gray hair, like 50s, 60s type. And I thought that might be specifically because of the kind of like White Stripes ties that the new record has. And a lot of those fans of the White Stripes were probably, like 20 years ago in their 30s digging on the White Stripes. And this is the closest they're ever going to get to a new White Stripes record. I wasn't sure if your audience was full of old fucks too.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty millennial Gen X audience for sure. Very similar to Queens of the Stone Age audience. Also, Santa Barbara is like not a super young place, so probably kind of skewed. It's probably most shows at the Bowl, but that definitely applied to me because like White Stripes are like probably top 3 all-time favorite band for me. Jack White's solo stuff has not particularly, I haven't been that into it until No Name. No Name was the first album of his that I like, really got into. And so that was like part of why. And I mean, I would have seen him either way if he played the Santa Barbara Bowl, but it timed out and I love No Name. So I was like, perfect. So you might be right that, his new album kind of re-sparked some interest and reminded people of the White Stripes. But I don't know. I haven't seen him before, so I didn't know if he usually did that much White Stripes. Because I felt like our set was like almost half White Stripes.
Yeah, no, it's like generally speaking, his last couple solo tours, it seems like he's gravitated away from that. But the White Stripes songs that he did play were always like the same ones. But this time around, he played a bunch of White Stripes songs that like I haven't heard him ever play, and that I don't think have been played for a while before this tour.
He played some fucking deep cuts on my set list. He played some that even I didn't know.
Let's go through your set real quick. I got it up on my machine.
Yeah, okay.
So we got...
I'll bring it up here.
He's always starts with Old Scratch Blues, and That's How I'm Feeling, I think. So those are the 2 like freebies that you get. And then he kicked into Dead Leaves on the Dirty Ground immediately, which...
Yeah, that was fucking sick.
Yeah, it's a banger.
I think I was in the pit at that point because I had seats with my brother and his 2 buddies, and they're all a little older, and we were like in the seated area in the back. I mean, the bowl's not huge, but if you're far back, you're pretty far back. And it doesn't really have any screens or anything. And my other buddy had gotten he got a bunch of fake wristbands that were like the same as the ones they have at the bowl. And he saw a friend of his Instagram story wearing the wristband, but he thought it was red, but they were orange. So he brought a bunch of red ones. So we had the wrong color wristband. But he was like, I'm going to try it anyway. And he also photoshopped a ticket to say GA. And so he said he went down. He texted me like right when I sat down. He's like, we're in. I'm in. He's like, the guy asked me why my wristband was different. And I just said, that's what they gave me. And then I showed him the ticket. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go pee. And then I'm going to try to get in. And I went down. And then I was like, I moved my wristband since it was the wrong color. So it was like behind my watch and like under my flannel. You could like kind of see it. And then I was like, I'm going to get 2 beers so that my hands are full when I walk up there so that maybe they don't bug me. Yeah. So I did that and I was all ready. And then like a group of like 6 girls was in front of me. So I was like, perfect. And they were checking all of them. And I just walked by. I was like all ready to like lift it up or something. And I just walked in and like nobody even looked at me. And I was like, okay. It was a little anticlimactic, but and then I think like all that, and then like immediately kicked into Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground. It was like, oh shit. That was a banger.
So between the show that I was at and the show that you were at, they really started out exactly the same. So my show started out with How I'm Feeling, Old Scratch Blues, That's How I'm Feeling, Dead Leaves on the Dirty Ground. Then It's Rough on Rats, and then Little Bird, which is like exactly what he did for the first songs that at your show too. And then that's when things started to change up a little bit.
I was stoked on Little Bird. Sorry, but what am I looking at? Was yours?
I went on the 8th.
Oh, okay.
His set on the 9th was honestly better for me, better for what I would have wanted to see at a Jack White show. But I was at some dickhead's fucking bachelor party on May 9th. So
Why was it better?
because he played songs off of Fear the Dawn, pretty much. That's really the only reason. He played more solo shit and a little bit less covers. Because on the night that I saw him, he played like a Jimi Hendrix song. He played like a Stooges song, which is like cool, I guess. But I just like would rather hear Jack White songs instead.
I want to be your dog. Is kind of sick.
He did Hear My Train a Coming,
cool.
which was really fucking heavy and crazy.
What covers did he do at your show, Connor?
If any. I don't think he did any.
Yeah, so he rocked out 3 covers total for us.
That's
2
cool
of
to
them during the
do
encore.
An Iggy song.
Yeah, we didn't get any because so we did Rough on Rats, then Little Bird, then Love Interruption, Cannon, Union Forever, which is a cool one.
Which is crazy.
I was very surprised by that one.
That's one of those White Stripes songs that I don't think he's really broken out for a really long time in his solo career.
Yeah. I felt deep. That's the Citizen Kane song. You guys ever seen Citizen Kane?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that song was quoting Citizen Kane until I watched Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, this is a fucking White Stripes song. Then he did Tonight Was a Long Time Ago. Then he did Broken Boy Soldier, which he did at yours too, I saw.
Yes, which
then he did Lazaretto. Lazaretto. So we got one from the first album, one from Lazaretto. Hardest Button to Button was a banger, but it was just a quick version. Then Archbishop Harold Holmes. Then Encore. Icky Thump went fucking hard, dude. That might have been the best song of the night.
Yeah, see,
that's
we
awesome.
didn't get an
That
Icky
one
Thump
had
on
the
my
place.
night.
Place was jumping during Icky Thump. It was hitting hard. And then Ball Biscuit, that was like a bucket list, like seeing him play that live.
That song is so good live.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him play Ball and Biscuit since the first time I saw him, which was back in 2012.
Wow.
And that was back when he was really relying a lot on White Stripes' back catalog because he only had one solo record.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you overall, your show, you got more of the songs that I personally would have wanted to hear as like a Jack White fan. But I got a really solid show as someone who would have gone specifically for No Name and White Stripes, I feel like. Because, I mean, we got Missing Pieces, which is from the first record, and it was great. That's one of my favorite Jack White songs of all time, so I was just really glad that he played it. But then that was it from the first record. That was all we got. And then we got Highball Stepper from Lazaretto during the A set, and then we got Black Bat Licorice during the B set, which are, again, 2 of my favorite Jack White songs of all time, but kind of weird going to Jack White. Too. Yeah, that song is so fucking good live, but not hearing like Lazaretto live was kind of a bummer for me, even though he's played it like every show I've seen. And then, like as far as the new record, we got like half of it, a little over half of it. But we didn't get like the
bust
song
out of Harold Holmes.
He did Harold Holmes during the
encore. Bust out of
Yeah.
Harold Holmes.
Yeah. I really wanted to hear Bless Yourself, but I don't think he does that one live. But that's like my favorite track.
Bless
from
Yourself
that
is
record.
great.
Seems like he's playing Seven Nation Army everywhere this tour.
He is, which he wasn't when he started out these shows.
Yeah. I think that's a nice crowd pleaser. It was cool to see, like, obviously not like it was just cool to like see that song played. Like that song is so like such a cultural,
it's such a powerful song.
It's the biggest guitar
song.
riff of all time.
I think.
So just seeing that played live by the guy who wrote it was like that's a cool, just historical. They'll be playing that in stadiums 30 years from now. And be like, I saw this shit live.
And for what it's worth, like
true
on his last tours that I've seen him on. He always closes with that song, but in the past, it always kind of felt like I'm closing with this because I have to, because it's like my big song. But this time around, it felt like he was closing with it because it like genuinely was something that like fits the show the best. Like the whole show was just like a guitar rock show, like heavy, energetic, not really any like low moments.
Dude, it felt
and
like
Seven Nation Army felt like supernatural and not like super forced, which in the past it's kind of felt maybe a bit more forced. But
I had a moment where I took a little bit of mushrooms, not a bunch, but enough to like be feeling good. And I had a moment where I was just like, because I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't seen him live, and I didn't know how guitar heavy it was going to be and how much it was just going to be him shredding. And there's just a moment like in the middle of the show where I was just like, dude, I've been watching this guy play like shred like this on YouTube for like the last 20 years of my life, 25 years. And now I'm like seeing it. And I was like, this is pretty fucking sick. And especially that was probably during like Ball and Biscuit. Cause I'm like, I've probably watched 100 different versions of him playing that song live on YouTube. And I just knew, like, I told all my friends who like weren't as big a Jack White fans, like right when he started playing that, I was like, oh, this song is just built to just shred on live.
Yeah,
like it's literally the whole point of him playing the song. Is
it's like their longest song too, right? Ball and Biscuit.
Well, especially when he does it live, because it's just like it's like 3 verses, but after every verse he rips like a minute and a half.
He just does a crazy slide guitar solo that's like half noise.
That's amazing.
And it's like never the same when he plays it live. It's always like slightly different, but he always is going bananas on it.
He is a true living legend, one of the few that we have. It's pretty much him and Julian Casablancas at this point.
I know this is kind of like a dickhead thing of me to say, but the one...
That was a joke, by the way.
The other... Yeah, good. I'm moving right past it. Moving right past it.
What about the Dare?
Also, I forgot about the Dare.
Oh, how could we have?
Dude, a Dare song came up when I was running the other day. I forgot it was a Dare song. I was like, this fucking sucks. What is this?
Dude, the Dare fucking sucks.
It's so bad. I saw someone on Twitter call it STD sound system.
Oh, that's hilarious. The Dare is just so derivative of all that indie sleaze shit. I can't handle it. I'm like, why would I not just listen to LCD Sound System or to the Strokes or to all that music is so much better than this.
Yeah.
And that's all this is trying to be.
It's horrible.
And it's the worst name for a project maybe of all time.
The Dare.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I need to wash my mouth out with soap after saying that name. Like, just makes me feel dirty.
One of my favorite takes I saw about the Dare, and like this is like a great hater take on TikTok, was somebody talking shit about the Dare, and they're like, I know he did that. Technically, he did that Charlie XCX song, Gas, and she's like, but I don't even give him credit for that because I think he was just going. It was just Charlie's vibes were rubbing off on him when he made that. And I'm like, I appreciate you're like even his good songs. You're like,
he's not responsible for it. Yeah.
It was only was good because Charlie XCX was there. Her energy was flowing into him, or else I was like, I respect that level of hate.
Yeah.
That's what, as a professional hater, I appreciate the grind.
I aspire to that level.
That's a great take. I know it really bothered me in Charlie XCX's Boiler Room set too, that the Dare was just standing there like a dopey-eyed idiot the whole time.
Yeah.
Did not deserve to be there.
Get him out of here.
Get him out. Well, any closing remarks on Jack White?
My only closing remark was just that I really miss Daru Jones. I really wish Daru Jones was there.
I know I asked you, but what was his band?
It's Patrick Keeler on drums, and then Dominic Davis, same guy on bass.
Yeah.
And then I forget the keyboard player's name, but he's a dude. He was fine. He's a cool dude.
So 4-piece?
4-piece.
Powerful.
The way I see it is like, I don't think drumming really matters that much. So I could kind of throw whoever back there, and I think it'd still be great.
Yeah, no, I think Daru Jones just, he is more of a presence, if nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Even
but it's
just
like
about
unimportant.
It's like as long as they're on
they're just
a little bit.
At the end of the day.
It's pretty simple. And they're all kind of doing the same.
They're all
doing
the same thing at the end.
Conor filled in for drums on one song.
I could have. What I will say is the one thing what I missed. Obviously, I was joking about drumming not being important because I was like, oh damn, I wish fucking Meg White was here.
Yeah,
hitting the drums, and then I was going on down another White Stripes rabbit hole, obviously, and dude, her drumming is so sick. Just like the beat, it makes like just such a drive. It almost feels like some of the songs, like it almost feels like a fucking like electro, like driving beat with just like how much noise she gets out of. I don't know. I'm a big Meg White fan and defender. I don't think people really still. I don't think it's like a cool take to say she's.
Yeah, I don't think there's much
No,
Meg
people
White
are on her
hate.
side now, I think.
Yeah.
Other than
I just
those, like,
think of. Well, School of Rock will always be out there when.
Yeah, true.
He's like, dude, there's no chicks that can drum. She's like, Meg White from the White Stripes. She can't drum.
Yeah, that's a bad take nowadays. Did not age well. And also just that not even her sound, but as like a visual presence, the way she looks in all the music videos and like her
I know what you're talking about. I know what this guy's talking about.
Those big boobies.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, let's get some ladies. Jeez, let's get some ladies up here hitting those drums. Give me something to look at. Come on.
She could have smiled a little more is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. Why she always looked so sad?
Yeah.
Turns out she was just suffering from crippling anxiety every time she was on stage. That's probably why she wasn't smiling.
Mm-hmm. No,
but yeah, her stage presence was great.
You guys know
what they would just like the way they would like just their chemistry, the way they would come together.
Indeed.
Nothing like it.
No. Special moment for sure. Well, cool. I'm jealous I didn't get to go to Jack White.
Yeah, you fucked that one up.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked that much about the White Stripes on here.
Not really.
We could just pivot to the White Stripes. We've talked way more about Jack White's solo career than we have about the White Stripes.
That's because I am personally in the minority. I acknowledge this, but I think Jack White's solo career is his pinnacle of songwriting.
Disagree.
Yeah.
I don't dislike his solo stuff, but I also disagree.
His solo stuff is like kind of like I got into Jack White kind of backwards. Like Blunderbuss is why I got into Jack White, and then I discovered the White Stripes, or not discovered the White Stripes, but I did my deep dive on the White Stripes as a result of liking Lazaretto so much. And I think he gets he doesn't necessarily get enough credit for all of the different ways that he's pushed rock forward over the last like 10 years. He gets a lot of credit for like having a vinyl pressing plant and like making cool guitars and stuff, but
White Stripes is actually a great thing to talk about with Connor because, you know, we've spent time talking about how important Green Day was to our collective childhoods. How Connor exposed me to Green Day and Gorillaz, and White Stripes is really the third band in there. That was like kind of the third band that I got obsessed with. Connor, and it was basically just from watching White Stripes music videos on MTV all the time.
I also had the CD, or I think my brother had the Elephant CD.
Yeah, Elephant was a big
and
one.
We were spinning the shit. That was the first album that I got to do. Well, I was also like 8 when that album came out. So, but yeah, we listened to the shit out of that album.
Icky Thump was one of the first ones I like sought out and purchased myself when that came out.
Yeah. Icky Thump is one that like I go back on. I think it's aged just super well.
It has.
Like going back to that album, like in my head, like for some reason it like in my head doesn't always, I wouldn't always consider it like a classic White Stripes record. Like, but when I go back and listen to it, I'm like, this album fucking rips. And there's a couple of really good like blues jams on it. Icky Thump, the title track is just a banger.
Yeah.
Hearing that live was just like, oh, this song gets the people going. So that's an underrated one.
It's a weird one too. You kind of forget how weird it is. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's heavy. There's some heavy songs really on that album. Like Little Cream Soda
song is really heavy.
That's a sick song though. But yeah, it's like
Rag and
full
Bone,
on
Icky Thump.
Yeah.
That song's really heavy too.
Yeah. Both those songs are super heavy and both have like really whimsical like lyrical content to them.
Yeah.
So like when I think about those songs, I think about them being goofy, and then I re-listen to them and I'm like, especially Little Cream Soda.
Little Cream Soda is a pretty dark song.
Yeah, but it sounds like whimsical when he's like, "Oh, just have my little cream soda and an ice cream cone."
All I wanted was a
Oh,
little
well.
cream
All I
soda.
wanted-
Yeah, oh yeah. But then he's
Yeah, the lyrical content of Little Cream Soda is actually kind of depressing when you listen to the words. I don't know if Rag and Bone's kind of just a goofy song. Like
Little Cream Soda is kind of hardest button to button lyrical type of.
yeah, totally.
Except a stick, a dog, and a box with something in it.
Something on the
Boom, boom,
nose.
boom, boom.
Bum.
Connor, what was your favorite, excluding his solo career, what was your favorite Jack White side project?
Oh, just based on volume, I'd probably have to go with Raconteurs.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And overall, I had Broken Boy Soldier. That was happening alongside, like that was active at the same time, right? Because Broken Boy Soldiers was like 06.
Yep.
Consoler the Lonely was 08. Broken Boy Soldier was 06. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Broken Boy Soldier a lot. I never had Consoler the Lonely, but
Consolers of the
Solution,
Lonely is a 10 out of 10 album. There's truly not a single moment on Consolers of the Lonely that I would skip. It is probably the best. It maybe I'm oversaying slightly, but I would put it in the top 3 best rock albums of the 2000s.
I was gonna say my top 3 Jack White albums of all time, including every White Strip album and all of his other solo albums.
It's a masterpiece of a record.
I'm gonna listen to that tonight. That's clearly that's the one with Salute Your Solution on it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That song is obviously a banger.
Yeah.
Salute Your Solution is a banger.
And what's the great fiddle tune that's
I'm looking up the track list right now because there's
it has legitimate hits on it.
The Switch on the Spur is a fucking beautiful song. Many Shades of Black is sick. Top Yourself is sick. Old Enough is sick.
I'm gonna have to
Old Enough is what I'm thinking of.
Old Enough is Oh yeah, that does have the he used to play Top Yourself a lot in his solo career. Like when he would do his live shows, he would play the song Top Yourself a lot. And there's a lot of live versions of that song that I would highly recommend.
Top Yourself. I heard that song's about Marilyn Manson.
And Julian one time.
Yeah, I had my rib removed and did it once. I was like, I don't really like it that much. Better when a chick does it.
You look
better
really
when a different guy does it.
Yeah. What?
I thought Julian looked really fuckable in his most recent Instagram post. I was just gonna throw that out.
The one of me holding the fish.
Yeah.
Nice. It's from
it's
from Le Bachelor Party.
Le
Bachelor
Party. Yes. Oh, oui.
I guess now's as good a time as any just to mention that.
Slip that in.
Went to Pinedale, Wyoming.
Yes.
Connor, obviously you would have been invited if you lived in state, but I thought it was too much to ask of you to fly to Colorado.
That would have been really fun, though.
2 times within
a month. Oh my god, if the Sandman was there, that would have been unhinged, bro.
Yeah. It would have been unhinged. I appreciate that. Yeah, I already did for the wedding. I had one this year where I had a bachelor party in Mexico in February, and then for that I had that wedding in Dallas in April, and great time. Both of them great times, but it was kind of a lot to the double commute, especially because that was such a bang bachelor party wedding.
Yeah,
it was kind of a lot. So I appreciate getting left off the hook, even though I'm sure it would have been.
It was a good time. We went to Pinedale, which is about an hour south of Jackson, Wyoming.
Oh, okay.
And we went fly fishing.
Jackson's Hole.
We stayed at the super dope lodge right on the river. And it was wonderful.
It was a really good time.
Yeah.
I wish we would have stayed forever. Everything got a lot worse when we came back.
Shit did fall apart. Pretty immediately.
Pretty much as soon as we came back.
Everything got bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back to reality.
We
were punished for our sins.
Yeah. You enjoyed yourself for a few days? Oh, sorry, bitch. That's not life. You don't get to do that.
Trying to make up for that.
Was it just you two?
Yeah, it was just the 2 of us.
2 of us.
One room.
Shared a king's
one
bed.
bed.
Nice.
It was
Reminds me of Sideways.
Benson was there too, but he wasn't allowed to speak to us.
He had to sleep at the foot of the bed like a dog.
He could only.
Yeah.
He was just there so he could make sure he was busy writing his keyboard riffs.
Exactly. Writing riffs
Keep writing, monkey.
that I could later take credit for.
Which is in no way racially charged. Because
everyone knows.
Benson's white.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
He's half
He's
black.
from the Solomon Islands, so he looks black.
Okay, maybe don't call him a monkey.
So I said it wasn't racially charged.
I thought he was white. I mean, I've never actually seen him.
He's the whitest islander you'll ever meet.
Mm. Cam was there too. And
Just because he's white presenting doesn't mean that he hasn't shared in the struggle of people of color and Asia Pacific Islanders.
Nah,
so
but he hasn't though.
maybe you
so-
should just.
I
take
thought
it
you were
back.
more sympathetic to the plight, Julian.
No. We opened this
This is-
podcast by praising Donald Trump. What the fuck do you think?
True. I forgot about
Our
Donald Trump.
fearless leader, and we stand by that.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot it.
Yeah,
I
nothing
forgot
will
I
change
am
my mind.
Racist now. My bad, guys.
It's hard to forget that
Yeah.
type of stuff. You should be better.
I should be
better at this.
I just need to practice more.
Yeah. No, but for reals, we love Will. He was there, and he wasn't held captive in any sort of way.
Shout out Nate. Nate was there.
Nate Dogg.
Tom was there. These are all people you
Nate
meet at
Dogg.
the wedding.
Hold
Honor.
up, wait.
A Nate Dogg episode would be fun too.
I don't know
Because
that
I feel
much
like
about
that'd be
Nate
a good
Dogg.
way to kind of span all the important hip hop and R&B of the 2000s.
Ooh, do a
Lump
deep
it
dive
all
on the
into a
dog.
Nate
On the
Dogg
dog.
episode.
Nate Dogg was truly gifted and a
16 in the
talented
clip
vocalist.
and one in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make somebody's turn cold.
Smoke weed every day.
me and my buddy Joe Ford karaoke regulators recently.
Nice. That's a good
And
one.
I also-
That's fun
I
to do as
also-
a duo.
I also karaoke'd Possum Kingdom by Toadies, which was a lifelong dream of mine.
I know that song. I can't.
It's a weird 90s alt rock song.
Yeah, I know the title for sure. I just can't place it right
Sing
now.
us the verse right now.
Yeah, you're so good at karaoke.
It's like it ended up being a weird song to karaoke, but I think it went fine. It was kind of a weird crowd anyway.
I mean,
But
you could
it's,
acapella it. No problem.
Do you wanna die?
Oh, yeah.
Do you wanna die?
That's a
Make up
great
That
song.
song is horrible.
That's a great song.
Walk with me.
Oh, man, that's like,
along the
you know,
lake tonight.
KTCL, Channel 93.3
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Denver, dude. They played that song like
That's
at
a
least
staple.
4 times a day.
Angel. That song's a banger, dude.
That's a great song, Julian.
Do you
You're,
want
They also have a song
Wrong
called
again.
Tyler. There's a song
Good
called
song.
Tyler from
Bad
the same
song.
album that's also a banger. I would recommend both.
Okay.
But yeah, that song is legitimately a sick song. It's like 4 songs in one too. It's got a lot of
yeah, there's a lot of
weird
parts.
It's got a lot of mixed meter, I think, right? Doesn't have some odd time stuff.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely. Burn out, burn out,
I can't wait to listen to
burn
that song
out,
after.
burn out.
I do
Sorry,
love that
It's
song.
Julia.
kind of really weird.
That's going to be the next one.
Yeah. That's the final nail in the coffin for your
Make up-
relationship
yeah.
with Julia Connor.
Do you want
Do you wanna
That
The
was me.
answer is
That was
yes.
me karaoke. Do you
Throw up.
Yeah.
I overexerted myself.
Is there going to be, you mentioned that there's going to be a jam session at the festivities, after the festivities?
At the wedding?
Yeah.
There can be a jam sesh. There's
Whoa.
a karaoke
The only
machine
thing
A
in the
karaoke
basement
machine,
too.
is
Yeah.
that what it
Let's
is?
fuck. I'll do some karaoke. That's the only thing I could contribute to a jam is very overconfident and poor singing of.
We're
like,
gonna need
the
you to
8
learn-
songs that
I
know.
can't wait
Sunday
to
Bloody
sing
Sunday,
karaoke
and probably
with
at least
you,
3 other
Connor,
U2
yeah.
songs.
Ah,
I think
It's
I
gonna
could
be
do
great.
Sunday Bloody Sunday, but
Dude.
like not well.
a
Well,
clip
Bono
of
doesn't do it well,
a
so
clip
why
of
the fuck
us
should
3
you?
guys singing Sunday Bloody Sunday at my wedding is gonna go gangbusters.
Double
That's
platinum.
the most podcadzo thing that could ever
Or
happen.
you could do you should do a strictly '90s U2 cover band.
Yeah. I have been listening to so much Zooropa lately. It's insane.
It's so good.
I should go listen to that again. The one I got back into recently was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at
Once. Everything stays the same. Everything you ever wanted stays the same. What you know the Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get
Stuck
Out
in a
of.
Moment?
What is the name? What's the name of that album?
The album? Fucking.
All That You Can't Leave Behind.
Yeah.
I thought we said it already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say it already?
I don't know.
No,
I think that's how we.
I was trying.
Oh, you said everything.
And I said Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, that's it.
Knowing it was wrong, but,
That's funny. I didn't even notice that wasn't the name of the album. Yeah,
It's close enough.
close
trying
enough.
to get you to say it. Well, I think I've mentioned it before on here, but there's a hardcore band called Converge from. You ever listen to them, Julian?
Yeah, I
Converge?
fucking love Converge.
They fucking rip, and they have an album called. One of my favorite album of theirs is called "All We Love We Leave Behind." And it's the two interchange in my mind a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, this seems like as good a time as
Jamaica.
Shout out Converge though. Listen to that album; it fucking rips. They are super duper heavy. So if you don't like super heavy stuff,
dude, yeah,
but you guys both like heavy stuff.
Converge is heavy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Boston hardcore, baby.
Yeah, they are Boston hardcore. They're like old, kind of that old school.
OG
yeah.
Boston. They've been around. Jane Doe was like 99, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they've been around. And then all We Love We Leave Behind was like came out like 2012. They were longevity. They've got a lot of like kind of math rock. They got as they went on, they like got a lot more intricate and complicated
influence.
Yeah. So All We Love We Leave Behind is very like it's kind of math rocky, but it's sick.
Yeah.
In a cool way.
I definitely need to go back and check that record out. It's been a long time since I listened to it.
Aimless Arrow, banger.
Yeah, that record is.
Here, you guys hold this down for a sec. I'm gonna take a peachy.
Oh. A what?
Oh, now
I'm really uncomfortable by the fact that he called it that. Don't let Cypress attack you. Oh my goodness.
Is that your dog?
Yeah. There's a few dogs up there right now that both sound pretty unhappy.
Oop. You been listening to any other heavy stuff lately? I haven't been on the biggest heavy kick.
Have we talked about the Spinner record? Did I send you Spinner by Eyes?
Oh, you sent me. I saw it. You guys were. I saw it on the cover of the episode you put out this morning. You sent me one of the songs when it came out, but the album wasn't out yet.
That
Is
record,
the album out now?
Yeah, the record's out. It's pretty short. I think it's like 30 minutes or less. But it's really, really good. It's like a good mix of like that post-hardcore vibe where it's like very like rhythmically driven riffs, syncopated riffs, and then it also has a lot of like pure noise and like caveman like halftime sludge kind of influence.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's really good. It's probably the best heavy thing that I've listened to so far this year. That being said, I haven't been on a huge heavy kick either.
I'm about due for one, probably.
Yeah, it always comes for me around this time of the year. I always spend the first like the colder months listening to like hip hop and rap for some reason. And when it gets
I've been listening to
I listen to a lot of metal.
Like I usually listen to metal at the gym, but I like rotate. I've been doing a lot of rap at the gym lately, and like I've been like a lot of like 2004 to like 2012 type rap, like
That's
Nelly
cool.
and like that era, like Lil Wayne and Drake and shit. As much as I hate to say, I was listening to some Drake. Some of that older Drake.
The early Drake is okay, yeah. Especially
like
Drake
some
features.
of that. Yeah. There's a song with Lil Wayne called "Right Above It."
Yeah, dude.
Probably heard. I've like randomly that one's been like very prominent in my rotation lately at the gym. That song like it gets me fired up.
I was just telling him about Spinner.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up Spinner. I've been listening to that a bunch. That album's so good.
Pretty enjoyable listen.
Yeah,
short and sweet.
One more spoiler about Friendship, because speaking of some of the only heavy stuff I've been listening to lately, Julian, is like new metal. I don't know, like a little like new metal kick at the gym. Yeah, some like Limp Bizkit radio.
Dude,
Korn,
that's I wanted to bring up Limp Bizkit earlier or later in the episode. This is perfect.
We gotta do a System of a Down.
I've been listening to Limp Bizkit as well lately.
I've been wanting to do a System of a Down episode literally this whole entire time.
We could do a new metal. But anyway, so in Friendship, because the whole score of Friendship, it's like scored, and that's what part of like I liked about it is the whole score is like very eerie. Mm-hmm. It's like almost it sounds like the score of like Hereditary. So it like adds a lot of tension to the movie, which there's a lot of really cringe moments, as you've probably guessed, Tim Robinson. So it like adds to that uncomfortableness. But there's two in the movie, and one of them is Wait and Bleed by Slipknot.
Nice.
And it just made me think of, I don't know if you've seen that old clip with him and Conor O'Malley from Detroiters where they're arguing. He's like, "You don't need your Slipknot mask." I'm like, yeah. And then he's in the car like banging "Wait and Bleed" by Slipknot. It's pretty perfect. I won't give any more away about the movie, but
I'm glad you brought up Conor O'Malley because I've been watching a ton of Conor O'Malley stuff on YouTube lately, and that dude is
he's
amazing.
in Friendship.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
he was just performing in Fort Collins, and I was out of town when he was there.
Oh,
at Fort Comedy.
The Comedy Fort.
Yeah, Comedy Fort. Yeah.
His recent stand-up's been pretty funny. He's out there, but he's great.
Did you see the stand-up solutions one?
Yeah,
the AI thing.
Yeah. I haven't watched the full one, but I've watched a few clips from it, and it's pretty good.
It's very good. It's the other one similar to that is Tim Heidecker's from a few years ago, where it's like deconstructing stand-up comedy, where it's like purposefully a bad stand-up. Yeah, those two.
Tim Heidecker is like his content these days. It's like so many layers of irony that I don't even know. Mm-hmm. Like, you ever watch On Cinema is hilarious.
Yeah, On Cinema is great.
The Office Hours, the clips from Office Hours, like there's so many. It's like there's so many levels of irony. It's basically just like a normal talk show.
Yeah. It's so nuanced. It's not even detectable. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I saw clips of when he had Kyle Mooney or Kyle M.
Yeah.
Like that
I
whole
saw
thing
that one too.
That whole thing he's doing. Yeah. And it was just like both of them like not breaking character.
Yeah.
Like,
which adds to the confusion of the Kyle M album. It was like,
dude,
is this a real thing?
Is that real or is that not real?
Julian and I had a long conversation about this. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's just an extremely committed bit.
Very committed bit. So committed, the comedy is almost lost.
That it's almost not even funny.
Yeah.
It's almost like not even a joke.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the Time Crisis interview with him, Connor? He was on Time Crisis, Kyle M.
I listened to like the first half of it. I don't think I finished it.
I don't blame you because it got so tedious. How much they were committed to the bit. I
couldn't see that.
Yeah.
I could very much see that happening.
Yeah.
With that group. Did you guys watch the rehearsal?
No, I know of the Miracle over the Mojave and all this stuff. I saw rehearsal season 1. I haven't started the second season yet, though.
You got to watch season 2. It was definitely better having not known that all, like having that all be a surprise.
Yeah, I wish I watched it in real time for sure.
He literally doesn't tell you about it the whole season, and then like the beginning of the last episode, he's like, "Oh, also I've been training to become a 737 pilot for the last 2 years."
Fucking crazy.
It's so insane.
I watched the whole CNN interview with him.
It's so funny.
Talk about tedious. very, very funny, but it's like 20 minutes long. It's like, oh my god, man.
Oh, he does not break character, dude.
No,
like ever.
It's kind of scary, his commitment to it. Like, he's a very intense person.
Yeah.
He's on another level.
But like this whole storyline in the second season is him like grappling with whether or not he might have autism.
Yeah. Which is funny. There's even any debate over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seen anything you've ever done?
Yeah.
There's an episode where like he talks to this woman who works for like an autism institute, and she's like, "Yeah, people like your show is huge in the autism community because like being able to like rehearse a social interaction is like definitely something an autistic person would do,
Yeah.
because they can't naturally have them. And
The most
she, like,
autistic idea for a TV show ever.
yeah, and he like keeps being like he's like acting confused on. He's like, well, she's like, yeah, so like I was like somebody like you would obviously, and he's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I don't have autism. She's like, yeah, well, yeah, no, but and then he like. But like, there's like, he wouldn't be able to fly if he actually had gotten like a diagnosis.
Okay, interesting.
So
I would think
the whole underlying.
I would want nothing but autistic pilots. I think.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Well, that's a whole. They talk a lot about the airline industry, and you basically can't even like get diagnosed with the. Like that, people don't even want to get diagnosed with depression or like see therapists because they could lose their pilot's license.
That's intense. I've been watching a lot of stuff about air traffic controllers lately. So it's been a hot topic. And that also has very, very stringent guidelines. Like you can't have any mental health diagnoses. If you're older than 31, you can't even apply to become an air traffic controller. You have to be younger than 31.
Only got a few years left.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
dude, if we're going to do it, today is the day.
I have to do it now. I'm 30.
Oh, man. The walls are closing in.
Did you hear about that air traffic controller where his daughter died because she was high on meth and she choked on her own vomit? And
the tragedy over Albuquerque.
There's this really big drug dealer there, and he could have stopped it, but he didn't. He let her die, and then the air traffic controller was so depressed that when he went back to work, he caused a plane crash over Albuquerque.
I saw that in a documentary.
Yeah, it was a good doc.
My favorite documentary. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that documentary was so good.
It was solid.
They need to make more documentaries like that where stuff actually happens.
It was crazy because it was all true. Like,
yeah,
it's relatable because it really happened.
Documentaries are always true.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
You can take a documentary as 100% fact.
Yeah,
I always
they're not going to lie on a documentary, or else it wouldn't be called a documentary.
I kind of go by a rule of thumb where if something's on my TV, I'm like, why would this be on my TV if it wasn't just
100% legitimate?
Accept at face value. Yeah.
Be careful with that, Connor, because I've just started accepting that 9/11 may not have been an inside job. That's exactly the rabbit hole I went down.
That does not sound like you at all.
You went down a rabbit hole. And you came out thinking 9/11 wasn't an inside job.
Well, I saw loose change on my computer monitor, which is basically a small TV, in 2003. And that exact same logic. I said they can't be lying because this is on a tiny TV.
So you're undoing all of the.
Well, yeah, because I saw 9/11. A new
9/11.
TV program on a normal sized TV where it turns out terrorists did 9/11.
Iraq.
Yeah, well,
specifically.
That's what the big TV wants you to think.
Dude, you guys ever
That's
watch?
a big TV narrative.
That's fake big TV. I don't know, maybe just think of Norm Macdonald, but do you guys ever watch Norm Macdonald's? I think it was because I was like, I'm being funny right now, like Norm Macdonald.
This is great. We're ripping like Norm.
On Norm. But
we're just like the funniest person of all time.
Yeah.
We're
kind of channeling him.
I watch a lot of Norm Macdonald talk show highlights.
That's exactly what I do.
I think that's when he's in his element. Like Norm Macdonald on Conan.
Well, I just saw where he was on his own podcast with what's that dude's name? He did the podcast with. It's like a younger comedian.
Oh, Nick Swartzen.
Not Nick Swartzen. Nick Swartzen was on it all the time, but it was like his permanent co-host, kind of his right hand.
Oh, yeah, I never knew that guy's name.
Yeah, with the sideburns.
Is this the 9/11?
That's probably.
Joke?
It's not the 9/11 joke. It's the frog applying for a loan joke. Have you guys heard that one? Yeah. I just saw it last night again.
It's a knick-knack, Paddywhack. Give this frog alone. His old man's a Rolling Stone.
It's a Rolling Stone.
That one and the moth joke are.
Yeah,
the moth joke is still my favorite.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And when he does that one on Conan, Conan would just like play off of him perfectly.
Conan was the perfect vehicle for Norm Macdonald for sure.
Have you seen that old clip from like the 90s where there was like the woman on who was in a movie with Carrot Top? And he was like the guest before, but Conan would always have him stay for the second guest. And especially if it was like somebody he thought was going to be boring because he knew he would just like sabotage the interview and make it hilarious. And yeah, it's one with some woman who was like from a soap opera and she was in some shitty Carrot Top movie and she wasn't overly interesting. And Norm Macdonald was just roasting the movie she was in the whole time.
I haven't seen that.
He's like, "What's the name of this movie?" And Norm Macdonald's like, "Well, if Carrot Top's in it, you should call it Box Office Poison." And then there's a line at the end where she's like, "It's called Chairman of the Board," and Conan's like fucking with Norm, and he's like, "Chairman of the Board, Norm." He's like, "Do something with that, you freak." And Norm Macdonald like sits there for a second, and he's like, "I bet board is spelled B-O-R-E-D." And Conan's just like, "Damn it!" Like, he like just like stands up out of his chair. It's the whole interview is great though. You got to look it up. Speaking of going down a rabbit hole, I could watch Norm Macdonald clips on YouTube for like hours.
Not only old Norm Macdonald's appearances, but just like classic talk show bits are a great rabbit hole to go down every once in a while. I think I brought it up on the pod. I was going down like the Harmony Korine, David Letterman appearances a while ago.
Yeah.
Those are incredible.
Yeah, he had him on all the time.
He did.
So
and
weird.
Then he was finally banned because supposedly he went into Meryl Streep's dressing room and went through her purse.
I think I have heard that. Yeah, he's a strange guy.
Strange guy indeed. Yeah. Are you into his movies? You guys seen Kids and Gumbo?
The only movie I've seen
Spring Breakers
is Spring Breakers.
Kids is great. Gumbo,
which is not a good movie.
Yeah, it's not. One of the most culturally significant movies, I'd say, of the early 2010s.
I remember it being significant, and I remember the first time I saw it thinking it was fun, and then I rewatched it, and I was like, "No, this is not a good movie. Bad movie."
We've been in a segment of I Love Films for a while now.
Oh, this is I Love Films.
Yeah.
For almost the whole podcast. I brought up friendship right away, and we never left the episode.
True. I don't know if we'll start the pod where you were talking about friendship, though. Well, now I guess we have to.
Oh.
Decision made.
For continuity's sake.
Unless anybody said anything racist after that, because we do. Usually we open a little peek behind the curtain for the listeners. Is at least when I'm on, is we do a little warm up, get the blood flowing before we start the episode, and that's when we get all the slurs out of our system.
Get the slurs out.
That's slur hour.
Could be a good band name.
That reminds me of the song "Get the Brits Out" by Kneecap, which is another topic I wanted to broach with the Sandman today because I know he's a Kneecap fan.
Yeah.
Have you been keeping up?
What they do? And they're being blackballed.
They are being blackballed. They're trying to wipe them from the face of the earth.
I don't want to say what type of people are blackballing them.
Yeah, true. Very true.
No, they had they were at Coachella, and Coachella clearly didn't do their research on who Kneecap was.
What they're all about.
Their stage, they had a big screen behind them just flashing back and forth between Free Palestine and Fuck Israel for the whole show, which valid. But people don't like that so much.
I heard
also,
Coachella confused pro IRA with pro IRS and just thought they were
that's a simple
CPAs.
Mistake to make, honestly.
Yeah.
I saw the joke I was saying is people didn't know what kind of Republicans they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
They thought they were a different kind of Republican, and they're Irish Republican.
There was like a big thing about Shane Gillis making Joe Rogan listen to Kneecap on the Joe Rogan Experience, and Kneecap has publicly stated their dislike for Joe Rogan many times. And so there was a lot of bits about like Joe Rogan not knowing what Republican meant in that context.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I still haven't. Speaking of, not to take this back to I Love Films, but did you ever see that movie?
That's what I was just about to bring up. I recently watched the Kneecap movie. It's excellent.
I heard it was awesome.
It's so good.
I need to see it.
Those guys are so fucking talented, the Kneecap guys. They got Fassbender for that movie. Fassbender plays one of their dads. It's crazy. It's a great
fucking Fassbender.
It's not only a great film, but one of the better comedy films that has been made in a while. Like it's very funny.
Yeah,
and
I need to put that on my watch list.
Yeah,
I need to watch that.
It's a good movie. So yeah, I've been so into Kneecap lately. I think after like the first time we talked about it, Connor, I started listening to Fine Art a lot. Because that wasn't really an album I gave a lot of airtime before. And I was saying to Julian that if I had discovered Fine Art earlier, like when it came out, it would have easily been in my top 5 list for 2024. It's an incredible album.
Yeah, I should probably go a little deeper on that album, to be honest. I know a couple of great songs off of it, but the title track is great. I like the song Fine Art.
Fine Art's great. It has the best interludes. I think about that one that's like the interlude before the song with the dude from Fontaine's DC. It's called The Stadia. It's like, oh, look at the Stadia. It's like, obviously, he's like, that's the thing about cocaine. It makes you lie. It goes into the next song. It's the best.
I'm making a list of albums I need to listen to after this episode. So I need to go listen to that, and I need to listen to Consolers of the Lonely.
Consolers of the Lonely. And had you?
Yeah, Kneecap's great. I stand with them.
I stand with them too. So the latest drama was Sharon Osbourne was on Piers Morgan's show.
Who also like
Sharon Osbourne is one of the worst women of all time.
What she has to say about anything?
Yeah, dude. We dislike most women on this show. Obviously,
yeah, well,
Connor can't text us about hating women because he's here now.
It goes without saying.
Goes without saying that we weren't going to be fans of Sharon Osbourne, but I never knew how much I would dislike her.
Yeah, she's horrible.
I don't know that much about Sharon Osbourne. What did she say on Piers Morgan?
So
she said that they needed to get like fucking federally arrested and like.
Yeah, she basically said she said shame on Coachella for having Kneecap on. That they're thugs. They're
like promoting
Irish
violence.
thugs. They're promoting violence. They need to be arrested. They need to be deplatformed. She went off. There's a good Fantano summary of it.
Maybe Sharon Osbourne should pick up a fucking history book and
that's like
see the kind of violence her country perpetrated on the country of Ireland for 200 straight years, and maybe they'd be a little pissed off.
Probably part of the reason why she doesn't like them.
Not only that, but the irony of like the only reason Sharon Osbourne is relevant at all is because she's married to a man who in his time was, I mean, he wasn't ever political necessarily as political as Kneecap is, but
he was a nut job.
Yeah, a nut job. And he got just as visceral a reaction out of mass audiences as Kneecap is getting. So yeah, she's a fucking idiot. And so yeah, that's been a big Kneecap thing. And then there's been more like there's literally like a well-documented governmental smear campaign going on against Kneecap afterwards. Like enough so where artists in the UK had to start a petition to like not let Kneecap be buried underneath the ground. And it's insane.
Don't listen to it. Listen to Kneecap. Support Kneecap.
Support Kneecap.
Up the raw.
Up the raw. Indeed.
Maybe not. Maybe don't put that out. But
yeah.
Still,
as American kids, we can't fully understand the cultural implications of saying that. It is very fun to say up the raw. And it is very fun to be on a surface level pro IRA.
Yes, it is. Especially as somebody who was named after a book about the Irish Revolution, I feel that I'm allowed to be a little more.
What, Sanders
Irish,
or
but also
Connor?
No, Connor.
What book is that?
It was Trinity.
Oh,
Character called Connor Larkin.
And you were named after
him?
By
Leon Uris. I was named after him.
That is really cool,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of back to I Love Films again, real quick.
Yeah.
You guys know that Snow White movie that came out, the live action one
with Gal Gadot.
That was happening, but
yeah. So I heard originally Gal Gadot didn't want to be in that movie, but once they told her that it was a bomb directed towards children, she signed right on.
That's great. Because she's Israeli is the joke there.
Well, she's Israeli and she's vocally pro-Israel.
Vocally pro-Israel.
Government. Pro-IDF.
I remember that movie was announced and the poster came out and someone retweeted the poster and said, I've never seen anyone act badly in a still image, but somehow Gal Gadot is doing it.
Have you seen the clip? Enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Yeah.
That was like a vocal stim of me for a while. I was going, enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Well, that movie, The Nile, did you ever see that? Or sorry, Death on the Nile?
No.
Death on the Nile?
No. That clip was all I needed to see.
Yeah, I saw that one. And there could not have been a more disastrous movie from a PR perspective than that one, because the stars were Russell Brand, Gal Gadot, and Armie Hammer.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Yeah.
Whoops! Whoops! Nightmare blunt rotation.
For real. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing Russell Brand will ever be in. And then Armie Hammer's making a comeback amazingly, but.
I just watched a movie with him, but it was an old one.
I actually liked
because I went on a Guy Ritchie kick.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That and The Gentleman I watched recently, and they both ripped so hard.
Julian and I talk about Guy Ritchie all the time. Like I watch a Guy Ritchie movie every week easily. He's the man.
Our conversation reminded me of this old Twitter exchange. That's one of my favorite ever. Have you seen this one about with the Taylor Swift fan account? Where it's like some Twitter fan account called Taylor Swift Updates. And she goes, as most of you know, I haven't been very active in the past couple of months because I was in prison. I'm back now, though. More Taylor Swift updates coming soon. Somebody replies, OMG, why? And she replies, she goes, I refuse to join the IDF, LMAO.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which good for her.
Yeah, good for her. That makes me a huge Taylor fan.
Well, it wasn't actually Taylor. I'm a fan of that.
I know.
I'm a fan of
because she's not. I know that Taylor is not Israeli.
Yeah. But I bet she would. I bet if the IDF asked Taylor Swift to join, she would say no.
She'd be like, "Girl power, yes,
yes, queen." Taylor's breaking. Taylor Swift refuses to join IDF.
Just like a fucking teen magazine spread of her just kicking Palestinian children in the face with like teeth. Nice boots on. Girls can
girl
do
boss.
Anything.
We can do anything. # girl boss.
Girl boss energy. We can go to space.
Girls are bosses too. I had another film related thing. Connor, you remember Get Him to the Greek, speaking of Russell Brand?
Yes.
I think
I do.
That was one we maybe watched at like a sleepover for the first time. Kind of vaguely remember watching that at a sleepover.
It's very possible.
It was 2010 when that came out, so it was prime sleepover time.
A lot of sleepovers were going down.
That was a good year for sleepovers.
Yeah.
And that era, I still lived in Fox Hills, so we were still in the sleepover window.
So that movie I've talked about. I've complicated feelings about Russell Brand. I mean, now I'll just fuck that guy feelings. But
yeah,
it's a shame because I was once such a huge Russell Brand fan after that movie, and that movie really holds up as a comedic movie. And what I'm bringing it back to, since this is a music podcast, is the soundtrack for that movie is truly incredible. The Infant Sorrow fake album that came out of that movie has some genuine bangers.
Did a whole fake album.
There's a whole fake album, and it's honestly very, very good. Like
also, you know who else is in that movie?
Jonah Hill
and Diddy.
Oh, Diddy, yeah, true.
So that movie is
holds up in every way.
Get him to the Greek stock is low right now.
Like, I actually after the Diddy thing happened, someone on Twitter was like, "This is a catastrophic year for Get Him to the Greek stands," because it was Russell Brand, Jonah Hill, and Diddy.
What did Jonah Hill do?
Well, that was just Jonah Hill was catching flack for that surfer He
Oh
was dating
yeah,
that surfer, and he broke up with.
Said
she was
she
being a
was.
dick, right?
Yeah.
That was a while
She
ago.
said he
That
was
was a while
like
ago.
emotionally
He was like super controlling. Yeah.
abusive or whatever.
Yeah. But we were talking on the episode that just came out last week about Jarvis Cocker, and Jarvis Cocker actually had a big hand in that Infant Sorrow album. He co-wrote a lot of the songs with Jason Segel. Jason Segel is a really great musician too. But
yeah, he's great.
have you listened to the new Pulp songs, Connor? You into Pulp at all?
I haven't. No, I'm not really into pulp. One thing based on fake soundtracks or fake albums fake real albums that came out of movies though was I was just rewatching Pop Star.
Oh, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Stop, never. Yeah, and there's some of those Conor for Real songs are bangers.
Yeah, I need
the
to
Bin
rewatch
Laden-
that.
Well, just you can just go in and like the movie's funny, it's worth watching, but some of the songs are the funniest part, and the Bin Laden song is just go listen to that song and listen to the words, and it's fucking hilarious, but it is so absurd. The Bin Laden song and Mona Lisa are my favorites on that.
I'll check it out.
But
I have been wanting to rewatch that movie. Speaking of Bin Laden, I watched
the whole theme of the song is the girl wants him to fuck her like the U.S. government fucked Bin Laden. So, it's just like fucking like we fucked Bin Laden. You'll be bumping it it's super catchy too.
It'll be stuck in your head.
I just watched.
I'll text it to the group chat right now.
That Netflix series, American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
I was like under the weather one day and just binge watched that, knocked it out, and it reminded me of the John Cena Bin Laden announcement. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
We have neutralized to a permanent end Osama bin Laden. John Cena just came out at a WWE event the night bin Laden was assassinated, and he came out in his jean shorts and shirtless and his wristbands on, and was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have neutralized to a permanent end Osama bin Laden." Like he was trying to use like tactical, like military speak, and then he goes on to be like, basically Steel Valor, be like, I could have been part of the U.S. military.
I would have been there if I wasn't here.
Exactly. I've used everything they've given me to inspire me and ascend to these heights. I pretty much killed bin Laden myself.
It's like Mark Wahlberg saying if he was on the plane that hit the towers, it wouldn't have gone down like that.
Yeah. He would have lone survivor to that.
You never heard that, Julian?
Yeah, it's incredible, dude.
So
Yeah.
I would have left a municipal fucking footprint on someone's ass.
Yeah, he's like, I would have gone for the nearest Vietnamese person and then
Yeah.
the fuck out of him before we hit that building.
That's the other thing, dude. I was the Mark Wahlberg Vietnamese assault, and then he was on like inside the actor studio.
Full on hate crime.
Full on hate crime. Never. And then he was on inside the actor studios with James Lipton, and James Lipton brought that up. And Mark Wahlberg could not have been more dismissive about it. Like, and this is several years later when he.
Well, it happened like before he was famous.
It did happen before he was famous, but very much happened.
Like pre-new kids on the block.
We'll need to study Mark Wahlberg's brain when he passes away.
Dude's
because
definitely
he's
a
such an
sociopath.
anomaly. He is one of my favorite actors for sure. I just rewatched Boogie Nights, The Departed. Like,
dude,
it's turned in some of the best roles.
He's so good. If you had any idea what we did here, we would be cunts.
Yeah.
You calling us cunts?
You calling us cunts? It's incredible.
You say, yeah. Well, families are always rising and falling in America. Oh, who said that? Hawthorne. Smatty, you don't know any fucking Shakespeare? Dude, Mark, he got nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
He did.
That's one of my favorite trivia things is telling people random roles that people got nominated for Oscars for. Because there's a lot of like best supporting actor random ass nominations out there, and I love to tell people like my favorite one is Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Got nominated.
I didn't know that. Crazy. He'll probably be the last person to do blackface and get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the clip from the Oscars that year, and it's Cuba Gooding Jr. is announcing the nominees, and he gets to Robert Downey Jr. and he just like fucking stares at him. He's just like he like gives him this look like.
That's awesome.
I like that one. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg probably should have won for Departed. Great role, Captain Dingham.
Mhm.
Just rewatched that one on a plane recently. I haven't seen Boogie Nights. I have like Paul Thomas Anderson's full filmography on my watch list.
Oh, you haven't seen Boogie Nights? Dude,
That's the only PTA movie I've seen is There Will Be Blood.
that's a good one to see. That's still my favorite. But Boogie Nights, that's like such a movie you would love, Connor. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. I just rewatched Boogie Nights.
I feel like a lot of his movies. And then there's that. Have you seen the ad for his new movie with Leo?
Yes.
It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. Licorice Pizza sucked. People didn't like Inherent Vice, but I liked Inherent Vice. It was basically just a Big Lebowski ripoff, but it's good.
Well, yeah, no. Well, There Will Be Blood is obviously great.
Yeah.
And then I need to. But I want to watch like Magnolia, but that movie's fucking like 3 hours long.
Magnolia kind of sucks too. I think it's overrated. I mean, it's good. Tom Cruise in that movie is incredible, and there's a lot of good performances, a lot of good little vignettes. But overall, as a movie, it's not great.
Good Amy Mann songs on that soundtrack.
Amy Mann for sure.
Whenever I think of Amy Mann, I just think of that Portlandia sketch where she's
that's
there.
so funny. The housekeeper, yeah.
Amy. Like, yeah, they're like, this is what the internet's done. Nobody's buying CDs.
Yeah, she has to do this. This is really an I Love Films episode. I'm into it.
Turns out.
Yeah.
It's been pretty off the cuff. I've basically just been saying whatever comes to my mind for like the last 45 minutes.
That's what it should be.
Just a
couple bros talking. Any other before we wrap this up, any other closing remarks from anybody? Anything we wanted to talk about but missed?
I was going to check in with my Neil Young deep dive.
Oh yeah, please do.
I've been going kind of slow with it, but the ones that I've listened to a lot so far are I think my favorite so far is Tonight's the Night. Tonight's the Night is great. Speaking Out might be my favorite Neil Young song to this point.
Okay.
But that whole album is just sick. On the Beach, I like a lot. Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere. I've listened to a lot. That one is obviously a banger. Down by the River is a classic. And then what's the other really long song on that album? The last song on the album, I think.
Tonight. No.
Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere.
Yeah.
Cowgirl in the Sand. Cowgirl in the Sun. Yeah. Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere might actually be my favorite. That album,
I haven't listened to that in so long.
It's an easy 7 songs, 40 minutes. There's like 2 Down by the River and Cowgirl in the Sand are just like 10-minute fucking epics with some great Neil Young noodling. And then Harvest. I've listened to some Harvest, but that's kind of all I've dipped into so far. Thoroughly enjoying it, but like one of those, like, especially On the Beach and Everyone Knows This, or On the Beach and Tonight's the Night, they've been kind of on repeat. So it's been keeping me from listening to, on Tonight's the Night, Speaking Out's really good. Mellow My Mind is fucking great, but like that album front to back is really good.
Tonight, Harvest is always my go-to for favorite Neil Young, which maybe a little basic, but it's a classic album. Tonight's the Night is always up there for me. And then
Tonight's the Night.
After the Gold Rush and On the Beach, and Harvest Moon, I suppose. Those 4 albums I have really listened to, but the rest of Neil Young's catalog, I feel like I've just consumed through listening to songs or singles.
Yeah,
I don't do deep dives on his albums.
He has a shit ton of albums. So I've kind of just been listening to I kind of just been cheating off Pitchfork and the shit that they have good high scores on, just checking those out, which can be a good way to go sometimes, because Pitchfork will especially with older artists, they'll sometimes go review a random deep cut album and give it a really high score, and it could be worthwhile for finding just where to get started if doing a deep dive on an artist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
On the Beach is great too.
Yeah, it's a cool album. 1974.
Yeah, so that and Tonight's Night both came out in 74, which is crazy. Because they're both great.
They just did.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
There's a song on Zuma that my buddy sent me called Cortez the Killer. If you're looking for a good
Yeah, I know that song.
Yeah.
Zuma's cool.
Jam. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll check back in on that. We could do a full Neil app. Are you a Neil Young guy, Julian?
Yes, I love Neil Young. Honestly, mostly what you mentioned, like Harvest, probably my favorite. Harvest Moon is like also perfect, I would say. No issues with Harvest Moon. I was gonna mention this album that came out a couple years ago. It's like newer, so probably not quite made it into like the rotation yet on the deep dive, but the Neil Young and Crazy Horse album that came out in 2022 called Toast is one of the best records I've ever heard. Also,
really?
I love Toast. I think Toast is very, very well
I remember
done.
that coming out. I listened to it, but I guess not seriously enough.
The lore behind Toast is pretty interesting because it was a record that they had recorded and been working on like all the way back in like 1999 or like 1998, and they were going to release it in like 2001, I believe, maybe 2002, but then they never put it out because Neil Young said it was too sad, and then they basically just shelved it until 2022, and then they came back and reworked a bunch of it and then put it out. And I personally think it's a very, very solid and very enjoyable listen. I don't think it's too sad compared to like normal Neil.
To bring it full circle, it's back to I Love Films. Have you guys seen the movie Dead Man? Speaking to Neil Young. Connor, you seen Dead Man with Johnny Depp?
No.
It was like a very weird art house black and white Western film directed by Jim Jarmusch, I think is the director's
That's a made-up name. Fake name.
Jim Jarmusch.
I think it's Jarm Jimish.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Jarm Jimish, apologies. But Neil Young did the score, did the whole soundtrack to the movie, and it's very cool.
Ooh, interesting.
So check out Dead Man. Pay attention to the score.
Okay.
Good movie.
Will do.
All right, cool. Well, that's what I call a very, very good episode of
That was a good
podcadzo.
episode.
Well-rounded episode.
We did good bullshitting, boys. We really went in without a game plan there. And
should we just do the...
We should have talked about you two more.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about Zuropa more. Should we just do the Bono episode next week?
The Bono one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay,
Connor
I could do that, yeah.
has time.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you give me a week to watch it instead of 24 hours to watch it.
I still think you
I
should
meant it
watch
won't
it
come
the
out
night
next week,
before.
but we're recording the episode tomorrow.
No, we can't record it tomorrow.
we'll record it next week. Got a full week
You
to
should
watch it.
still
I'll probably watch it 2 or 3
the
times.
night before the pod so that it's fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it. Well, depending on what day we're... Well, actually, I don't have hockey next week because we lost.
Lots of silver lining.
If we do the pod on Tuesday, I would be able to watch it on Tuesday night. Or if we did it on Wednesday again. So let me know when you want to do it.
I got to do Tuesday next week. I'm seeing Block Party on Wednesday.
Tuesday next week. What if I can't do Tuesday?
I'm going to Block Party on Wednesday.
That's cool. Are they doing They're doing what's that record called?
Silent Alarm?
They're doing Silent Alarm like in full, right? Or is that...
That was... I don't think for this tour. That already happened.
Okay.
That was like an anniversary thing.
I thought that was this tour.
Yeah.
Well, you missed that. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bummer. That's kind of...
That was like your album.
Really, I love that album. Their second album's good, and then what's
Didn't they have one that they...
that came out in like 2012. That's a good album.
Yeah.
Everything else has been questionable.
It'll still be a good show. Where are they playing?
Red Rocks.
Ooh.
We got like $20 tickets through a hospital promotion thing.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Through P Jiggy. So anyways, that's a little peek behind the curtain at my personal life. My schedule for next week.
Big. What else are you doing next week?
Next week, what aren't I doing? It's
Yeah,
an
that's the
exciting
question.
week at work for sure.
Lots of Q2 marketing.
Lots of Q2
Meetings.
ad sales,
Lots of
return on
Lots
ad
of-
sales.
listening.
Last month of Q2, so it's definitely time to. no secrets
I'm
going
sorry, I
there.
was talking about fiscal quarter 2.
Oh well, my fiscal year is the same as the normal year.
Tells me a lot about. Honestly, yeah.
Bleep that out.
We're bleeping out all the stuff too. I don't appreciate any of that.
Nope, keep all the
Through this
in.
with the fine
Ink.
disparaged.
Whatever the fuck it's called.
You're right.
I hate it. It's dumb as hell.
Well, Colin, you got to be able to talk to somebody about that.
I tried to print something out. It said, "Oh, sorry, your printer won't work because your fucking subscription expired." But guess what?
That'd be awesome if we actually do that.
That you do. I swear to God.
If you need a subscription for your printer work, that's dope. That's just good business, Julian. You call me.
No, it's
call me.
actually like
From what Julian's saying, that sounds like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you're right.
Colin's over here like, yeah, that'd be hilarious if that's how we did it. And
that
Julian's
is
like,
literally
"That
what
is how
happened.
you
I
do
tried
it."
to print some shit out. Printer was full of paper. Printer was full of ink. It said, "Sorry, subscription has ended."
I don't own a printer.
It's like
I don't
it's
anymore.
like the new BMWs. The new BMWs, you have to like subscribe.
That's
to a
exactly
subscription
what I was
service to,
gonna
like,
fucking
to,
say.
everyone-
like get the sport mode on the car, and it's like, no, that's like the car. I bought the car that can
It
do
has
that.
the button
in
can
it
do
already.
So let me fucking
Yeah.
fuck you.
The printer's in my house. It's
I
plugged
just bought
in.
a fucking $120,000 car.
Yeah.
You bitch.
Everyone's just so horny for recurring revenue
stage-
and offering
stage
things as a service.
subscription-based.
Yeah.
And BMW already has recurring revenue because their cars are pieces of shit.
It's true.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need a new one
BMW,
every
right?
couple years.
Yeah.
There's a built-in subscription service. You got to go to the fucking shop 4 times a year.
Yeah, good point.
Probably a bad time to mention this, but subscribe to our Patreon.
You guys have a Patreon?
Yeah, Colin does feet pics now on Patreon.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's no bonus podcadzo.
No, it's
content.
just feet stuff.
Feet pics.
That's okay. That's the way you should have it separated.
Yeah, no, that's where most of the revenue comes from. That's why we have.
When are you guys going to start
So
having
we put
ads
closer.
on your podcast?
As soon as anyone gives a shit about us.
You
Truly, though,
trust me. As soon as we're able to capitalize monetarily off of this podcast,
I will be doing
will
just that.
be sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah. No, we were.
You guys could totally be a Barstool podcast.
I have no principles left almost. I'll do anything.
I mean, this day and age, you could do a lot worse than Barstool.
Yeah, true.
I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're taking the podcast off of every platform except for Truth Social
Yep. And Parlor.
and Parlor.
Can't forget about Parlor and
And
4chan.
and
Parlor exists
Rumble.
anymore.
We're following Russell Brand's entire structure for his content.
It's working out well for him.
Yeah.
Saw a video of him the other day talking about how Democrats are hypocrites because they are like violent and cause protests and stuff, even though they, just whatever, typical Russell Brand bullshit. But his nipple was like hanging out of his shirt the whole time while he was doing it.
Well, he knows
Like he's-
what sells.
He still can't figure out how to put on a fucking shirt, bro.
Yeah. I would say he's mastered how to put on a shirt.
No.
He's getting crazy with it. He's pushing the art form of how to wear shirts.
Reminds me of another great Norm Macdonald line where he's talking about Bill Cosby, and he's like, "Yeah, I was talking to somebody, and they were like, you know what the worst thing about the whole Bill Cosby situation was the hypocrisy." He's like, personally, I thought it was the rape.
With a rape, yeah.
he's like, you don't meet a lot of rapists who aren't hypocrites. He's like, you don't meet a lot of people out there. He's like, I think raping's good, and you should do it all the time.
The Bono thing, just to circle back around to that for one split
Yeah, because
second.
why not?
How pissed were you that, well, I guess you loved the whole thing, so you probably weren't that pissed, but like, I was kind of pissed off that he literally justified like an entire life of like narcissism and
Oh, yeah,
egoism
yeah.
with like literally 1.5 sentences.
Totally.
And just basically being like, it's okay.
No,
It is
that part I was
fine.
like, this is crazy. Yeah.
This is fucking nuts,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
It was such a peek into how Bono's brain
his
works.
brain really
it's
is a
uncomfortable.
special thing.
Yeah.
I was
Beautiful
trying to
mind.
imagine the fact that all of that, obviously, it was shot in black and white, but it all had like that was all color, like bright ass fucking strobe lights,
Yeah.
like at eye level, just like blinding you while a dude is like
Yeah.
talking about how his mom died. It's
They
like
they
what?
left in a few like mistakes that happened in the night too, just so you could see Bono kind of getting upset at production people too.
And like I think it was another one of those things
in a very
like,
subtle Bono way.
like earlier how you mentioned like leaving all the director's comments in during the scene change. Like I think he probably left in some of his like verbal gaffes or whatever too, to just be like, I want the people to know that I'm still a human.
I'm a real one.
I'm still a human being. I'm not like a god that these people think that I am.
Yeah.
Like
When I make mistakes, and
yeah.
I do make mistakes, they're charming.
it's hard to
as hell.
believe,
Yeah.
but I fuck up too, guys.
Yeah, but all my mistakes are humanizing and fun and charming.
Yeah,
So.
I cured AIDS.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Looking forward to the Bono recap
So stoked.
All right. Bono next week.
next week. Cool. Thanks, Connor, as
Consolers
always,
of the lonely.
for being on the
Yep.
podcast.
I'm listening. I'm going to put it on right now.
Hell yeah. Have a good
Spinner
night, brother.
Forever.
Follow up next week. Later.
Later. Bye.